Hey y'all, so I am a beginner cactus and succulent plant lover. As you can see, this little potted arrangement, I kind of let go a little too long before doing anything with it. Don't mind the misted water. I was watering my little babies over in the other area and some of the mist got on there. But I love succulents. One of my favorite things to do is to repot. I get bored easily and I like to rearrange. So my favorite thing about succulents is, look, you put those little petals in there, leaves in there, and they make babies all on their own. Once you have one succulent, you can have succulents for the rest of your life, y'all. Those are some of the leaves. I just literally just set them in a little saucer, terracotta saucer, and then look. Then I transfer them over, let them grow some more, and then they become their own little plant. If you look over, I got a good little collection of cactuses. Let me move on over here. Don't want to make anybody throw up, but alright. So I got a good little collection. We're in Central Texas, so these little paddle cactuses grow everywhere. This is my little old man. He was looking really sad inside, and since bringing him out in the summer, you can kind of see the shape of him has changed, and he has grown so much over the summer. They love the humidity. This is a cactus that I had to actually cut because it was starting to lean way too much. I don't know if y'all can see that. It looks really dark on my screen. But it's growing a new little baby on top. This was the mother plant, so I cut here and I cut another part off of it. It was so tall it was falling over. Here's one little succulent garden. I hadn't added a whole lot to it. One little succulent. This is a lettuce leaf succulent. That's what I call them. Cabbage leaf, lettuce leaf. It was looking really, really sad. It used to be really big. But whenever I bring them in during the winter, sometimes they start to struggle. This year I'm going to try and use some grow lights on them during the winter and see how they do. We got a little setup for hydroponics that we won't use during the winter. Same with this little aloe. This little guy was so sad, like on the verge of dying, and I'm trying to nurse him back to health. I think I need to move my rocks away from the base a little better. I just propped this guy up. He was doing so good, spread a little arms. And then today we had a whole lot of rain followed by a really, really, really hot day, like 107 yesterday, y'all, after like torrential downpour, and he was laid over. So I got him propped up. I'm hoping that he'll bounce back. I might need to pull him out of some of the sun, but he was kind of in the shaded area, so I'm afraid that he wasn't getting enough sun. Here's another baby. Well, mama, and then she's got two little babies. This one, last year when I got her, had the most beautiful flower on top. And I just love this plant. And so far, those two little babies there. Next year I may separate those babies, but for now, she's happy. This sucker right here, my mother-in-law gave me that. And it started off just being this base. That's it. And within, I believe, a year and a half so far, those two guys, woo, look at those. They grew. This one, every summer when I move it to the patio, oh, it gets so happy, and it's just done amazing. I'm not sure how tall I'm going to let that get before I cut those off and repot them. But man, it has gotten tall. Then I got some more little ones. Again, with the ones that we grow, we have natural out here. My daughter and I went and did some cactus hunting. Got those. These two right here are the cutoffs of that one plant that's growing a new baby. So This was the very, very top, and I cut it off and potted it. And then that was that middle section. And they're both doing really good. They've grown quite a bit. That little guy, man, those needles, he was struggling through the winter. He's another reason that I'm going to get grow lights during the winter. He was so shriveled up, but look at how beautiful he is now. And then this guy also, man, it was so like shriveled up, barely even hanging on, and it is doing great. I'm very anxious to see what those two plants do, because those two I got from at Walmart, and they were like $1. We got them because my daughter wanted them, and they were struggling, but man, they are kicking butt now. And then this little set we had gotten from Home Depot about a year ago, and I just noticed this week that new little baby growing on top. But I love this little one. It's got, let's see, we'll do it aerial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. And now that new little growth on top. So I'm really excited. I like to use a lot of terracotta plants, but I also use some of my old metal buckets. I use a lot of old chicken feeders. We do have chickens out here, and so these little old chicken feeders that I can't use for watering or food anymore make amazing planters. So let me take you back over to the table. Oh, here's a couple things I got from Succulent Source. So I ordered some cuttings, and I got these beautiful little trio of aloes, and I put those in a little pot together. They were all cuttings. I'll tell you what, I ordered 60 cuttings, and every single one of them has been amazing from Succulent Source. Not a paid promo. I just love them. If you ever want a quick fix of cuttings to grow, go with that. I also got that one from my cuttings. I got some paddle leaves with the cuttings. This huge one was a huge cutting in my set. It was amazing. And then this guy right here, I'm not quite sure that I'm going to be able to keep this guy alive without grow lights. It looks like it is filled, like it looks like little jelly beans. It's really hard to tell on the screen, but it is a cool plant. I need to do a little more research on him. I was so shocked to get that in my cuttings. I had no idea they would send something so cool like that. And then this one is a spring cactus that was not doing all that well. I got it at Mother's Day, and then it was just struggling. So I cut off a whole lot that was wilty. Now the bases are very, very strong, and I'm thinking that because it's one of the spring cactuses, not a Christmas cactus, but it's a spring one, I'm hoping that this will bounce back and continue to grow and do well in the spring. A quick peek at our hydroponic system. So we're doing tomatoes. This is the first year for us. It's a big hydroponic system. Some of our tomatoes struggled with root rot. We're going through a learning process with this. We did get one plant that had like over 100 tomatoes. Here is another tomato plant. Pepper plant. We just put these in last week. Another tomato plant. This one is a purple bell. And then these two I am so excited about, and I hope they do really well. These are Campari tomato plants. I love to make my own sauce. My mother-in-law taught me the recipe. So with these Campari tomatoes, they make the best spaghetti sauce ever. I use those, and then I'm hoping that green bell pepper down there does really, really well, because I use green bell peppers and the Campari tomatoes in my sauce, and I'm just very, very excited. As you can see, those are our old plants we took out. Basically perlite and nutrients, and the water's continuously running. It's a pretty cool setup. We're still learning. Alright, but back over to my succulents. Oh, and those guys are going to go in pots. Those are only maybe not even a third, probably not even a fourth of the tomatoes we've gotten from our hydroponic system. Those we had to cut off early because we were changing the plants over. So let's get back to this guy. So here in a minute, I'm going to cut off some cuttings and then harvest all these leaves. The things I love about these succulents is when you do this and you cut off all those leaves, you simply put them into this box. You let the cuttings, so this top portion, you'll let it dry over 2 or 3 days, and then they can go in soil. And all these little leaves that pop off, I put into a box and leave them there. And believe it or not, within this paper towel in this box, those leaves start to sprout roots, just like they do over here in the soil. But I found that you can root your leaves a lot better here, and you can see and make sure that they're rooted a lot better than in the soil. So look in the soil and you can look at those leaves and not really know, okay, are there roots down there? And you don't want to mess with it. So unless a plant comes up, you don't know if it's rooting. When you have your leaves in this box, you know whether your leaves are rooting or not. It's quite impressive. So I will come and bring you back after I have basically cut all this into cuttings and leaves, and I will show you the finished product inside the box. I have a feeling I'm going to need another box because that's a lot of work. Alright, see you in a little bit.